Let me read this to you. Protect your energy. Do not tell everyone your plans. People will demotivate you by telling you something is not possible. Work in silence and remember that anything is possible. Nobody watches you harder than the people who don't want to see you win. You must keep your life private. Cultivate your circle and only let certain people in. You can be open, honest, and real while still understanding not everyone deserves a seat at your table. And this is so real because, you know, when you recognize in your life that you actually want to build something out of you, you want to be an expression of something that's bigger than just, you know, the program of society. You want to recognize what can be done through you, what can happen through you, what you can create, the healing you can go through, the progress you can make, the results you can accomplish, and everything that can be, you know, experienced. Most people will see you as you're going crazy. Like, there are maybe family members who are saying to you, hey man, you're going crazy, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just live like everybody else? If you start telling them your dreams, they will say to you, stop dreaming. If you start working on them, they will say to you, hey, make sure you don't go crazy. Make sure you don't overdo it, because then you will go crazy, right? And then when you accomplish it, you become so different than them that behind your back they will say, yeah, he gone crazy. He became whatever. So they will never understand you because they are not on the same frequency as you are. The point is that you stop seeking their understanding. You stop seeking their validation. You recognize you're on your own path. And there are people who will vibe with you. And there are people who don't need to vibe with you. They don't need to, you know, find the same tone. Once you figure this out, you really stop seeking approval and validation from anyone you would love to get. Maybe your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, whoever. And you free yourself from this neediness to be approved. You recognize this deep desire that you have to create something, to accomplish something, is so much more important than being validated for it. So much more important. And when you start working on it, you recognize there's something interesting that happens. You just want to do it. You just want to do it. And this want for doing it kind of turns into love for doing it. And then love turns into flow. And then flow creates results. So you recognize you only have hard times when you're not in this flow, when you're not doing, when you're analyzing and maybe criticizing yourself and getting lost in this inner critic of yours that's, again, comparing yourself with the voices of others and thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough, or this is not happening, or they are not supporting me, or whatever. And you just need to get back to yourself and recognize why you're doing it, why you've started, and where you're going with it, even though you don't really know where it is taking you. The point is that you recognize all these challenges in your life as kind of inspiration, how to bring a valuable solution to it. Like one example can be that someone in your family circus, I always say family circus, because it's funny like a circus sometimes. You know, when you look your family circle, and you may find someone who's constantly repeating the same pattern. And you may know what they could change, but they never change it because they don't work on changing it. And for you it becomes challenging because you know what they could do, but they never do it. It's a great inspiration because you could write a book about it. You could actually start, I don't know, gathering some studies, some science, some realizations, some deep knowledge, some wisdom from those who walked before you. Put it together and there's a great book. That person is most probably not the only one going through something like that, right? And that's how we start transmuting the energy. So the point is that you recognize you've been not placed where you are by accident. You've been actually planted there. Because, well, if you can see your environment as something that can initiate you into the process of growth, where on this process you create a solution for something you found in your environment as a problem, then you become a whole new version of you while you start working on the solution. You see, most of great successful writers are not reading books all day long. They read some books, but then they work on writing. They devote themselves into writing. They're not the same person as someone who's just consuming. Or maybe if you find some successful YouTubers, they're not consuming content all the time. They're a different person. They watch some videos maybe, but most of the time they're focused on creating. You see, if you want to get to the level where you're actually having some results, you need to become someone else. You need to stop waiting for things to change. You actually need to change, and then things will change. And in order for you to change, you need to recognize who you need to become. And whatever is the path that you will step on or you're already walking, you need to recognize what is that version of you that already has results. And you will recognize the mindset is different, the habits are different, the energy is different, the attitude is different, and the inner voice is more loving, more understanding. We say the cause of conflict is the lack of understanding. And the lack of understanding comes out of lack of self-love. Because when you start loving yourself more, you also start understanding why you are the way you are. When you start forgiving yourself, when you start accepting yourself, you also start loving yourself, right? You become a bit more kind towards yourself and you notice, okay, I have these attachments to these ideas of who I should be in order to create this kind of success, so then they will approve me or validate me. This is the old attitude. Now you recognize, yeah, I'm working on this change. This change means a lot to me. But I also know that for all of my life, I've been living in this kind of programming. And in order to change, it requires me to every single day work on this change, to every single day keep implementing some of new behaviors. And with implementing new, I'm slowly letting go of the old. And of course, here and there, you will fall back into the old. You will fall back into old addictions. You will fall back into old habits, old programming. But then this inner voice must be like, okay, you've done it again. It's okay, get back on track. And keep doing it as long as you notice the progress. Once you notice the progress, you recognize the progress happened because you've kept applying the change. Not so someone will see or someone will approve you, but because you love yourself so much that you're willing to love yourself into this new you, right? There is no new you if you stay the same, right? So stop doing it for others. Those you seek the most validation will never give it to you the way you expect. Because they don't see you the way you would love them to see you. Most of them see you the way they see themselves. And the truth is, most people can meet you only to the levels they've made themselves. So once you fully understand this, you start to do things for you. You start to do things for you, and you recognize when you change, when you find a healthier way of living for you, it will inspire someone. Not to give a thank you to you, not to say you've done it right or you've done a great job, but you will inspire them the way that maybe something will shift in them because you're doing it for you. They will notice a possibility in you, and that is enough. But the thing is, other people will come into your life and they will notice you for who you're becoming, and some of them will try to support you with that. Some of them will see a vision that even you can't see for you, and they will introduce it to you. And some of them will actually notice you for who you truly are, even if you still can't see who you are, and they will help you to understand this. The point is that you don't wait for these people, you walk towards them. They're somewhere in the field of unknown. You never know when they will find you, but once they find you, you will know they are the right ones. You will resonate with them. You will find the same, frequency. And when you find it, that's why you need to protect your energy, because not everyone is willing to walk this path with you. But most of them want you to walk the path with them, because they feel lonely maybe. And some of them are afraid of you leaving them behind, because you have enthusiasm and you have dreams and you have a vision and you have goals and you have drive, and they don't. But you've been working hard for these things, for this drive, for this vision. You've been working hard and they didn't. And that's what separates you from them. So don't allow them to pull you back to where you used to be, if you've been working so hard to get somewhere else. It's much better many times to work alone in quietness than to keep sharing with others what you're doing, because they will always say to you how meaningless it is, because they don't see a meaning in what they've never understood. They can't see it. They can't comprehend something that's beyond their familiar zone. They can't. So when you focus on you focus on something that's infinite, because you are infinite. You have these programs and beliefs of who you think you are, but every time you experience a glimpse of change, you recognize something new happened. You've become a bit more evolved. Maybe you've discovered some of your talents that you had no idea you had before. Maybe you've discovered another part of you that you've never noticed before. So you're constantly expanding into the vastness of yourself that you never knew that exists within you. So when you focus on you focus on the infinite possibility of what can be done. And therefore, it just becomes almost like addictive, because you don't want to stop exploring what else is possible. So don't attach to one idea of what you're doing. Like you can say, I'm an artist, I'm making music, but maybe 2 years from now you will be writing books, or you will be teaching people something, or you will be building businesses, or you will be helping people in, some ways. Never attach yourself to the idea of what you're working on, because this idea can evolve into something completely else. Be open. Always be open. And always ask yourself, does what am I doing still supports the person I'm becoming? And if the answer is no, go into reflection and ask yourself, why are you still doing it? Is there something else that started calling you and you've been ignoring it? This is a journey of kind of devotion till to the process that's unfolding within you and is taking you to places you've never been before. So it feels unfamiliar and many times unpleasant because you're facing with this old programming and old emotions and old habits that are pulling you back into familiar. I want to read something else to you that's very, very powerful. Listen to this. When you get emotionally involved with your goals, the conditioning of your subconscious mind would start to influence your thoughts. And it would cause you to think of all the reasons why you can't achieve your goal. You would start to hear voices in your head like it's too hard, there is no way you can achieve it, start tomorrow, you have so much work to do, and so on and so on. All of these voices has only one purpose, to make you give up on your goals. Because this new image is unknown and unfamiliar, and your brain is designed in a way that what it doesn't know, it perceives as dangerous. So when you have a great vision for you and you're working on it, your brain perceives it as something dangerous because you haven't been there. So it makes a lot of sense. And your brain's primary job is to protect you. So it triggers the survival mechanism which causes you to return back to what's familiar and known. And that's what's happening to many of us all over and over again every time we choose to do something differently, to do something that we know that will benefit our future, but right now feels unpleasant. So we need to become aware of this inner voice, of this inner mechanism, of how our brain was designed through thousands and thousands of years of evolution until now, and recognize that until now brain was just protecting us from danger, but right now we're living in an environment where we can actually organize it in a way that becomes more supportive for who we are becoming. If we recognize that most of the voices that we hear and most of the sensations we experience are not intuitive but habitual. So we need to learn to separate intuition from habitual voices. And how to do that? Well, intuition will always inspire you to do something that's scary but transformative in a positive way, while habitual voices will always pull you back into comfort. There's nothing wrong with them. They're very wise. They know what's good for you. They know what's good for you when you need to rejuvenate yourself. But they will not help you to change because they don't want to change. So you need to find a balance between listening your intuition and listening your habitual voices. And if you can find this wonderful balance, your life will start to feel more like a dance between walking on fire and resting on the clouds. Something like that. And it is a beautiful experience. Because pain provides you a lot of growth. And comfort provides you a space to rejuvenate. And we need both, right? But we need to protect our energy so we don't waste it with people, places, information, algorithms, and things that distract us from this main meaning that we've set for all of this, which maybe is to achieve this goal or to become this version of you, or to, I don't know, create whatever you want. It's really your mission, it's your path, and don't be distracted from it. It may happen, yeah, we have these family gatherings and we have these meetings, and we can't avoid all of that all the time. But we need to limit it here and there. Because if your life is like a cup of energy, this cup is full, but if you're pouring it to all the things that have nothing to do with your main path, then suddenly you will have nothing to pour onto your path, your cup will become empty. And you need to recognize what fills this cup. So what are the things, the activities, the books, the information, the practices that fill up this cup, and then recognize where this cup maybe has holes within. Like too much time spent with wrong people, too much complainment, too much gossiping, too much time spent at places that drain you, and so on. So we recognize, well, your cup of life is sacred. It's very sacred. And whatever is inside of it, make sure there's enough of content, enough of fluid that can feed your path, that can be poured onto your path. Because that's what will prepare the soil for tomorrow. Okay? You got this, my friend. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I know that some of you may feel like this rose that grows through the concrete. That's why I've shared this painting with you today. And just remember that wherever you've been planted, there's a bigger reason for this. So never start doubting yourself, because there is a reason why you've been planted there. But also know that you can remove yourself. You can move. You're a free bird. Maybe right now it doesn't feel like that. But know that if you invest enough of your time, work, energy, and effort into your dreams and goals, you can become more free and you can move. So, my friends, I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power once again. Thanks to everyone for choosing to support my art in our store, AttractPassion.com, or Etsy store, AttractPassion. There you can find all of my art, all of my paintings, prints of my paintings, and so on. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. We're making monthly challenges, and I'm posting monthly guided meditations so we can reconnect and grow together. Welcome there, my friends, and till next time, one love.